There you go. And here we are. Welcome to Monday, everybody. It is the Heading Back to the Window show with Scott and Scott. I am Scott Steen, lead handicapper at winnersandwiners.com.
And I'm our co-host, Scott Rochelle, senior handicapper over winnersandwiners.com.
That's right. Here we are. Euler Foster, 154, Central Time. Wanted to know where we are. Here we are. 6 minutes, man. That's a long 6 minutes. We spent.
They all count the same.
I spent about 8 minutes getting the camera right, and something that usually takes me about 30 seconds. So Joan is in the house. Howdy, fellas. Howdy, Joan. JC Stone in the house. Arizona Hoops Sunday night rocking chair. There you go.
Watched a bit of that game. Arizona, good.
Yeah,
it's a good basketball team right there.
Good basketball team. Happy Monday to the old T Train. He is Tony. What do you do in the off season, man? When you're not there cooking at the shack. They got the seafood shack during the summer, but they closed down during the winter. So probably just annoys Mrs. T Train would be my guess, because that's what I do with my wife. Made her go out and get a job, Scott.
At least you found something you're good at.
That's how annoyed she was by being home with me. She was forced to go get a job. So. Hey, it's good to be here, man. We had exciting action, a couple of upsets, couple of unexpected blowouts that I'm sure we'll talk about here a little bit later. Scott, personally, how was your weekend? How'd you do?
It was fine. Did well. Made profit every day except for Sunday, where I ended up losing less than 0.2 of a unit. I basically broke even on Sunday. Really bad beat. I was going to cruise to pretty much a winning week, and then 66 points in the fourth quarter of the Knicks game kills my under, and I ended up splitting there. But made money on Friday, made money on Saturday, and unfortunately lost a little bit on Sunday, but overall profitable weekend.
Yeah, good. Yeah, we were we had a decent weekend as far as premium goes. We were caused a profitable NFL weekend by the Sunday night game. Chargers unable to hold a 14-point lead with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Couldn't do that. Joan wants to know how Tennessee loses to Houston. No Derrick Henry. That's how they do.
I was going to say, because Tennessee's a team that was the 1 seed in the AFC, but we saw them lose against the Jets as well. Either they play down to their competition dramatically, or they're really not that good. Maybe both.
And that was a Houston team that gave New England all they wanted a few weeks back at home. A game they probably should have won, ended up pissing away. But BN Trabajo said, I tailed the New York Jets team total under. Great call, Reichel. Yeah, is it a great call if you make it every week?
It all counts the same. Win's a win.
Yeah, Steven the Godfather Godin said the Colts shocked him a lot. I wouldn't say I was stunned by the method in the margin of victory. I wasn't surprised the Colts jumped up and won that one. I stayed away from that game.
John, I got bad news for you. How do we tell him? The game already happened.
I like the over.
I like the over because Rice won in triple overtime. Yep. So sorry, but that game already took place.
And for the record, John, they did cover. They were covering 5 or 4.5. They end up winning by 5 in triple overtime.
That will be on Call the Cops tomorrow. So get excited for that one. But yes, that game already happened.
Yeah, what do you say? We've already got 2 Call the Cops for tomorrow's show.
We already have 2 Call the Cops for college basketball tomorrow, which means you're probably going to see a lot of snubs because we got 2 and it's not even 3:00 yet.
Yep. And we started doing a new thing that I'm going to tell everybody about here momentarily, but of course I want to welcome everybody officially to the show and remind you to like and subscribe and all that and all that good stuff. In fact, we have a very timely one today. If you do not like and subscribe, I will be at your house for Thanksgiving and demand more pie, and that's absolutely on brand. That is.
Do you have a go-to pie for Thanksgiving?
I'm pumpkin pie guy.
Okay.
My son's a pecan pie fan, and a couple other people in the family pecan. I don't like pecans. Don't like pecans or walnuts. But
is it because you have to pronounce it pecan instead of pecan?
Pecan. Yeah, I'm just above the pecan line.
Okay.
So I'm
always an apple pie guy. I'm the classic apple pie. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, it's very good, very good. And I want to remind you guys to listen to the show that's on before us. And it's I don't know what he calls it. He's the king of parlays. It's Chris.
It's just parlays.
It's just that's the name of the show. Just parlays. That's right. Mm-hmm. And you know what they talk about, Scott?
I'm assuming it's parlays.
Sides and totals. No, it's just parlays. And he's hotter than shit. He had a 2-teamer on Friday, hit a 4-teamer. He gave out an 8-teamer and 6 of the legs cash. So if you'd had a little round robin action there, you'd have been highly profitable.
You ever dabble in the round robin world of parlays?
I have a little bit. I have dabbled a little bit. I'm just not a parlay guy. I can't beat the math. I hate the math. So, and you've talked about this. You're a 2-teamer, 3-teamer max. You ever play round robin?
Round robin, I've actually tried a couple of times with player props. If you want a really, really fun sweat, round robin some player props in the NFL, and you'll see what happens there. But overall, it's pretty good. But I don't do it that often. I usually do parlays of around 2-3 picks max. Of course, occasionally I'll throw in a huge splash for a plus 5,000 return or something just for the hell of it. But usually I play it relatively safe.
Brownsbacker, who I don't think is here yet. Oh, there he is. Monday Fun Day. What's up, Brownsbacker? He had a 3-team anytime touchdown player prop yesterday.
Nice. Well, forget about that for a second. How about the Cleveland Browns? They didn't cover on your birthday. The hell's wrong with them?
Oh, they won. What a terrible.
They won, but they didn't cover on your birthday, Brownsbacker. You got to write a letter to somebody. Get a jersey.
Step into the dark parlay world. Pucker City. Yeah, it is. It's usually, that's the problem. When I play parlays, it's usually not Pucker City. It's like, well, fuck, there goes the first leg. I'm done. That's the city that I live in when it comes to parlays. So, hey, man, there was a lot of bad beats this week, and we only got time for a few. But you know what? Let's get to it, shall we, Scott? Let's find out who took it in the shorts, who had a not great weekend as we kick off the Monday edition of Call the Cops. Here's what I wanted to say, because one of the Call the Cops is going to be courtesy of one of our viewers, and we wanted to open that up. That made the light bulb go off in our heads and say, hey, why don't we make less work for ourselves, basically, and let you guys do some of the heavy lifting? So if you have a particular bad beat, Call the Cops situation that affected you personally, put it in the comment section of this video. All right, you'll find it, after we get done, it'll be there. Throw it in the comment section, not when we're live, because those go away for some reason. Those are in a different spot. We don't see them. So put it in the regular comment section, or in the comment section of my video or Scott's video. We'll make sure that it gets on to the next day's show, as far as Call the Cops, or a rocking chair for that matter. If you had a nice, easy win that you're a genius and you want to get patted on the back, put those up there as well. So, all right, very good. Having said that, let's start it off with our first Call the Cops of the day. And, of course, it's going to be in college football. If you had Iowa State plus 2.5 against Oklahoma, tie game, 26 seconds left in the second quarter. Iowa State has the ball. Oklahoma strip sack TD. Scott, Iowa State trailed by 7 at halftime. I was watching that live. I did not have a dog in that fight. Of course, I'm always rooting against Oklahoma because, Oklahoma. That was a brutal beat. I thought about that at the time. That was an absolutely brutal beat.
Definitely not fun, but Purdy's going to do Purdy things, and it wasn't pretty.
Purdy bad.
What?
Purdy bad.
Yeah, pretty bad. But looking at another first half bad beat on Saturday, if you had Navy first half plus 2.5 against East Carolina, you led by 4 points with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left in the second quarter, which doesn't sound that bad. But East Carolina went down the field through a touchdown pass on 4th and 2 at the 5-yard line with 18 seconds left in the first half. If this was 3 years ago, I'd say about 98% of coaches would have kicked the field goal there. But unfortunately, they went for it. You didn't get the stop you needed on 4th down, and they trailed by, more than 2.5 at the halftime break.
Yeah, that going for it on 4th down kind of jumped up and bit the Chargers last night too, as that didn't work out well. So, all right. If you had, this is a good one. If it was a Sunday college basketball game, if you had the Indiana Hoosier Daddies over 77.5 playing the Rajon Cajuns, had 76 points with 3:31 left. Scott, that's the spot I'm about turning the fucking TV off. It's
empty
over.
Out the bench.
It's over. Empty out the bench. They had 76 with 3:31 left. Scott, any guesses what they finished with?
76.
76. That, my friends, is a monumental bad beat right there. Again, thanks to Bronco Devil for bringing that to our attention. I am so sorry if you got involved in that game, my friend. That is indeed call the cops.
Definitely not a fun time when you're up 30 and all you need is even just a foul. You just need something.
Right.
And yet you're hoping that one of the bench warmers gets extremely excited, maybe even tries to go for a layup, something crazy. But they're going to jack it up from 35 feet, and apparently none of them went in.
Brutal. What else you got?
Looking at the other one, we have one NFL bad beat, which is a brutal beat. If you had the Bears +2 after the Lamar Jackson news against the Ravens, Chicago took a 4-point lead on a miraculous 4th down conversion for a touchdown with about 1:41 left in the fourth quarter. It's worth mentioning that Baltimore had 0 touchdowns for the entire game up to that final drive. And then Baltimore, with a backup quarterback, went on a 72-yard drive and scored a touchdown with 22 seconds left. Justin Tucker, of course, hits the extra point, and Chicago ended up losing by 3.
Bears are going to bear, aren't they?
They really are, man.
We had the first half under in that game. So,
well, you also had the full game under in the NFL show. We had a pretty solid NFL show.
Yeah, we did. Well, we weren't. I haven't done NFL yet. I graded out college, and less than desirable there. No, we did NFL, dude. I got to check you. I think you were about 500. I was not. So
I was saying for our play at the end.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, we
both won those.
Yeah, we did both win those. All right. So the opposite of call the cops. This is the place you want to be, Scott. This is where it's nice, easy victories. It's a nice Sunday. You are sitting in the rocking chair.
So the first one, if you had the Notre Dame Fighting Irish against Georgia Tech, and you were laying 17.5, you should have been laying 47.5 because they led 45-0 at the half, and they won the game 55-0. I believe one of us had that play.
I did have that Notre Dame play. I like that. I like that quite a bit indeed. And here's a play I had too, Scott. Only I had the other side of it. If you had the Army -37, you made a terrible bet. Sorry for putting it out there for you to follow me.
Practicing that triple option defense for the Minutemen.
Yeah, absolutely. UMass +37, man. They never trailed by more than 16. Army just couldn't quite get it going. They scored only 33 points. UMass, they lose by 16. If you had UMass +37, congratulations. You're back to great team. You were sitting in the rocking chair with your Minutemen.
And looking at Sunday in the NFL, if you had the Cowboys Chiefs under 55.5, you had 19 points in the first half. It's pretty tough to go over when one team doesn't score a touchdown, and the game landed 28.
I told you I made a live play on that when Dallas was driving there, about to score their first touchdown. Then they ended up not scoring a touchdown, of course. I got that live at 60.5, Scott, and played the under.
I also am aware that it was a rocking chair for one of us because somebody's got to buy themselves a Dallas Cowboy piece of, let's just say, memorabilia or some type of apparel.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that on the NFL show. But of course, Scott and I, if you didn't watch the NFL show, we had a bet where you see the mayors, they bet like, I would bet barbecue, and maybe Scott would bet, I don't know what they have in Long Island. I'm not what corn dogs. They have fried corn dogs, Scott.
I was going to say they're known for their seafood and their fish in general, but yeah.
But we decided we would make it a little different. The loser would have to wear the garb of the opposing team. Now the twist was
we both liked the other team to cover.
We each faded our own teams. So my team played well for about 8 minutes. Scott's team played well, not at all. So by process of elimination, by default, the Chiefs won that game. So I now have to wear some sort of Dallas Cowboy garb. I tried to find a shirt. They're all sold out. It's the supply chain, apparently.
By the way, Trabajo was right. Long Island is known for their iced teas. Well played. Well done.
And their brand new hockey arena where they've yet to score a goal.
Or they can't win a damn game. But yeah, besides that, everything's peachy.
Are they 0-1 or 0-2?
0-2.
Oh, okay. They had played 2 games. I just saw that.
Last place in the Metro. Not exactly an ideal start, but bunch of injuries. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, doesn't look good at all. All right. So where are we at here? Okay.
We had the last rocking chair.
Yeah. If you had the Texans plus 10.5 against the Titans, I know somebody mentioned that already. They never trailed in that game. They led 12 and zip at halftime. Hard to win when you don't score, Tennessee. They win outright by 9. All hail the Texans plus 10.5 because they put you in the rocking chair.
I'm sure a decent amount of people still in Survivor died this week, so my thoughts are with you.
Yes, thoughts and prayers.
Yep.
All right, very good. You know what? Let's do this. Let's find out. so much disappointment in this game. Oh God.
We could have found a lot of options, but when I filled it out, I thought this was a pretty good one because you kind of knew before the game where it was going to go, but you were hoping it would be somewhat competitive, you know?
Right. Yeah, it was not. It was not. Let's check out today's edition of I'm not mad, Scott. I'm just disappointed. All right, my friend. What you got?
So we're going back to college, and we're going to look at a matchup between Michigan State and Ohio State. Now, Michigan State, leading up to the game, was rumored to give their head coach, Mel Tucker, $75 million to keep him around for a while, and hopefully he signed that contract before the game actually started, because Michigan State, despite being the number 7 team in the country, was a 19.5-point underdog against Ohio State. So you assumed Ohio State was going to win. It wasn't like many people thought that Michigan State would pull off the upset and shock the world. Unfortunately, your 19.5 ticket was dead at half because Ohio State led 49-0 at halftime, and Michigan State lost by 49 points. So we're not exactly mad because we thought Ohio State would win because the spread was pretty telling of that.
Right.
49-0 at the half as a top 10 team in the country, really?
Right.
You can't do anything?
And we thought about putting it on odds makers were drunk, but what are you going to do? What are you going to make Ohio State a 35-point favorite over the number 7 team in the nation, or what the hell? No.
We talked about that on the other day, but yeah, it's exactly right. What are you supposed to do? Because 19.5 already sounded extremely high when you were going through the actual games on either Friday or Saturday before the game took place. But then you realize when they get on the field, Ohio State should be favored by about 28.5. or maybe even more, which tells you how big the separation is between, I think, the top 2-3 teams. Bama's a question mark because they struggled against Arkansas, but Georgia and Ohio State seem to be light years ahead of other teams. Is that fair?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They appear to be the best 2 teams in the country right now. So, all right, let's find out, because let's finish it up here, our segments, before we get to all the games. We'll talk about who was the winner for folks. Who was the gambling hero of the day? So, Scott, if you had the East Carolina Pirates, God bless you, because they had themselves a situation there against Navy. Trot the kid out for the game-winning field goal.
Walk-on, by the way, non-scholarship kicker.
54-yard attempt, Scott. He's never kicked a ball 40 yards in college football. He's never kicked a field goal over 39 yards.
Well, he might have kicked one. It just never went in. His longest make was 39 yards.
Owen Daffer, ice water in his veins as he steps up and nails it. All hail the Pirates. Raise the Jolly Roger, as they say in Pittsburgh, because East Carolina has a victory against the Middies.
I got to give East Carolina props. I was skeptical of this team because they hadn't had much success pretty much ever, especially in the last 5 years or so. They've been a good team. And the fact that you can trot in a kicker who you just decided we kind of have to attempt this because what else are we supposed to do? A 54-yarder for the win when your career long is 39. that had a couple of yards to spare with that, but that's a hell of a kick.
Yeah, that was it. Was
You're
that was
also on the road, so you have the road crowd going nuts. You're gonna ice the kicker and everything. That's a hell of a shot.
right, right.
Yeah.
Very good point. Ninja said disappointed on the Seahawks. Yeah,
I wasn't. Jets fan, give me that top 10 draft pick.
Jared23 says Ohio State and Alabama in the college football championship.
Bama, I'm not sure about because
right conference.
Young is, I think, a very good quarterback, at least compared to most college quarterbacks, because you can tell by who's coming out in the draft this upcoming year. It's a pretty weak quarterback class. So Young right now is one of the favorites to win the Heisman. Goes for 559 yards against Arkansas. But Bama's defense has really just been okay. I don't think it's really an amazing unit. And I do think that we'll find out a lot in the SEC title game because Georgia's going to be favored, because they have to be. They're undefeated, the best team in the country. Do you think Bama really has anything for him? Because we know Smart has had an issue of exercising the Saban demon because he can't beat him. But I do think that Bama is definitely a weaker team than they usually are. Georgia's defense is so ridiculously good that I have serious questions if Bama is going to be able to get enough stops in order to keep up.
They're next level. They are absolutely next level. Beyond Trabajo said those are the moments we live for, kick field goals. Like that's absolutely true. Yeah. You know, it's a kid that most likely won't have any further career after college. And that's
give him a scholarship.
Yeah, definitely do that. The bad thing is, Scott, you may have peaked at 18. You may never capture that glory again, man.
That will be the best underage beer he's ever tasted.
Yeah, no doubt. Crash Land and checking in said Cold Streak Crash bound to break out. Yeah, I feel that way, buddy. We
get some blankets. You'll warm up at some point.
Eula Foster says Memphis Grizzlies +12, UCLA -22, Penguins money line. I also like that UCLA game. We talked about possibly making that a bet the farm. We went a different direction. As far as the Grizz goes, Scott, I don't know what I have with this team.
The Grizzlies are an inconsistent team, which is why they are 8-8, because it seems like they look really good occasionally, and they look really bad at other points because they got blown out by the Timberwolves by what felt like 90 points over the weekend. So that was not exactly a good performance.
Right.
Memphis is a team that hangs in there, but it seems like they have mental lapses almost every game for X amount of minutes. To look at this matchup against Utah, the playoff series was somewhat close. I know it went 5 games, but Memphis was in those games. Oh, boy. It's really tough to go against Utah at home.
My problem with this Memphis team is there's 3
points. You saw 12. I see 10.5 on DraftKings. Yeah, if you can get 12, sure.
If you got that at 12.
Yeah.
Memphis 3-point defense is just awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. Which is why Utah's a terrible matchup, because all they do is shoot 3.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't love that one. I do love the UCLA, but
I still think 12 is okay because I found 10.5. I'm not sure if you're buying points or if that's what your book has. If your book has 12 at like -110, -115, do you think he has to take that on principle?
Yeah, I do. You got to play the value.
Yeah.
You absolutely do. T-Train and JC's doing. I agree with both of those. I think Bama gets exposed by Georgia. Yes, that's a check.
I think it'll be close. I don't think that Georgia's going to run away with it. I think Georgia wins the game.
Nick Saban in championship game. Yawn. Also,
he said Nick Satan in championship.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. I don't know if that's fat fingered or if it's on purpose, but either way, it's very funny.
I'm just hoping Alabama doesn't win. Give me somebody else.
Yeah, I think we all are feeling that quite a bit. I'm looking at the rest of the card here tonight.
It's an interesting card.
You believe in this Phoenix team yet?
I have to. They've been rolling. I've been believing in them for a couple of weeks, and they haven't let me down because right now they're the hottest team in the league, and it's not even close. Now they're playing San Antonio. San Antonio's been a team that we know is not very good. They've occasionally been able to hang tough, and they are definitely better at home than they are on the road, just because we know how good the home court is in San Antonio, whether the team is good or bad. However, Phoenix did play yesterday against Denver. On the bright side, they won by 29 and benched basically everybody for the entire fourth quarter. So Chris Paul only played 24 minutes. Booker played 28. 8 and play 26. So fatigue shouldn't be that big of a factor. I'm going with the Suns because how do you not take the hottest team in the league that has been crushing teams, winning 12 in a row? I think you got to go with Phoenix.
Yeah, and up until those 2 games against Dallas, really, in the away game against Minnesota, they'd really been cover machines as well. They failed to cover there, but they did cover against Denver, like you mentioned.
When you win 12 in a row, and we know that this team has the talent to make the NBA Finals, if not go beyond, and we know the Spurs are 4-11, that team's awful. It's really hard to go to the window with San Antonio.
Agreed. Legacy says play Donovan Mitchell over 3.5 threes at plus 125. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. Anything to fade this Grizzlies defense, especially 3-point defense, I'm okay with that.
My best play from that game would probably be Utah team total over. They scored a fair share amount of points. By the way, witness history over the weekend. I had the Kings team total under against the Jazz, and the Jazz won that game. That was Luke Walton's final game as a head coach. So I witnessed history there. Shout out to Utah for being a coach killer.
Oh, did they? I missed that with everything else going on. Did they get rid of them? Okay.
Which I'm happy and sad for, because on one hand, we were talking about Luke Walton being the first coach fired for the entire year last year, and it didn't happen. But on the other hand, I really enjoyed fading Luke Walton in the middle of games, and now I can't do that.
Coastal Real Estate, Gonzaga, Kentucky, Iowa. Some blue bloods there, and some nouveau riche, as they say.
I hope you have some type of board for all that chalk.
I know you like Gonzaga. You like Gonzaga.
I have to. Central Michigan's a terrible basketball team. Gonzaga's going to win that game by 45. It's going to be ugly, and I do think Gonzaga scores 100 in that one. The issue is the pace, because Central Michigan, we know, has been a run-and-gun type of team for years. They switch coaches, so they're significantly slower than they were in previous years. Gonzaga just beat Bellarmine by 42. Central Michigan needed a full court inbound into a buzzer beater to beat Eastern Illinois. They lost to DePaul by 33. Gonzaga's going to murder this team. I think Gonzaga wins that game by 40 plus.
This is another one where if you had your way, that would have been the bet the farm play.
Would have been up there.
But I wanted to go a different direction since it was my pick today, and we usually we end up agreeing, but whoever actually reads it usually writes it up, and they also kind of have the final say.
Well, my favorite play from that game was Gonzaga team total over, because I think they're going to score 95 points. But Gonzaga, we know, likes to run. Kentucky's a team that we know lost in the opener to a pretty good Duke team, but I'm not going to overreact. Kentucky's still a talented basketball team. They'll be fine. And Iowa is a team that has kind of had issues on the defensive end, which shouldn't surprise anybody, but they can just walk into 95 points any game they want. Mm-hmm. So for Iowa, I'm more interested in playing overs with them as opposed to actually laying big numbers. But I do think that each of those teams has a good chance to cover. Iowa's a team, though, that takes their foot off the gas when it comes to maintaining big leads. And suddenly when you're laying 25 or whatever number you're laying, their 30-point lead turns into a 22-point win.
I probably like Kentucky out of all those the best, just because this Albany team cannot score the basketball at all.
And Kentucky, we know on the boards, is going to crush this team.
Dude, they put up 53 against Harvard. They put up 56 against Towson State.
Those rebounding numbers are going to be disgusting in favor of Kentucky.
Yep, agreed. Anything else NBA? Because we got a lot of college to get to. What do you see in anything NBA?
Looking at the rest, I had a play today on a player prop in the Timberwolves Pelicans game, but I find that line fascinating. With the actual game itself, Minnesota was -2 on the overnight. Now it's at 3. It was at 3.5, so I guess you've had some buyback on the Pelicans. I like the under in that game. I'm not going to take a side. I know, obviously, Pelicans only getting 3. I have to fade them, but they've actually been okay at home lately.
Welcome to the Scott Reichel I hate the Pelicans show.
Well, it hasn't failed, so I feel like that's usually a good place to start, but they have been better at home lately. They've won each of the last 2 home games by double digits, so I am impressed by that. But Minnesota's won 3 in a row, playing really well. Those games were at home, so I'm kind of going to wait and see how they look on the highway. But they've played twice this season. Second game landed 205. First game landed 185. Give me the under in the mid 210s, because that total seems way too high to me.
Brandon Zerfus, Chaminade. It's the old Chaminade play. Scott plus 27 as they host the tournament there on the island. That did not work last year.
It did not, but occasionally they'll beat a really overrated Power 5 team like a California or a Stanford or somebody. Occasionally they'll shock the world.
Who are they playing? You know?
Chaminade, let's just say that they got their work cut out for them in this game. But to go through their actual matchup, Chaminade, what do you say the spread was again?
27? Yep, 27.
I don't know why DraftKings just does not have it listed. Let me see.
I couldn't get it either on the grid. That's why I've got to go through ESPN to check their schedule here.
I'll have it in a second. Sorry.
You know their nickname, Scott?
Truth is, totally forgot.
They play Oregon, dude.
Well, we know Oregon's dead to us, so
yep.
Sure. I think they got a chance to cover that. I don't know.
Too. Yeah, I'm all right with it.
Who knows? Whatever.
I have no season stats for Chaminade at all.
Of course not, because they're not a D1 team.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Here we go. Oh, they're led by Tyler Cardiano. Oh, he's good, Scott.
Of course, Cardiano from the Cardiano family.
They've got Cardiano and Aerosol. 2 guards average 16 points a game. There you go.
They're gonna spray it from the wing.
Yeah, they're gonna launch, buddy.
You really didn't appreciate that Aerosol joke? Come on, that was right there. Come on, like I was doing my best to.
I'm too busy looking up his 3-point stats. Like fuck yeah, he's a great shooter.
That's why I said he's gonna spray it. But Oregon's a team. The thing about Chaminade is that since they're not a D1 team, they should get killed every time they play a D1 team. But of course, it's in a neutral. There's travel involved, and you have to wonder.
It's not in a neutral. It's a Chaminade.
No, it's not a neutral. But I'm saying for the actual opposing D1 team showing up, there's travel involved. Neutral's not the right word, but they're traveling. Are they going to no-show the second half? Because you know that at some point, one team's going to wake up and probably kill the opposition. The question is, at what time do they realize, we got to win the game?
It's not going to be Chaminade. It's
not Chaminade.
Oh, shit, we're Chaminade. We need to wake up and start scoring. No, Oregon will either wake up or they won't.
Correct. No, I don't mind taking the points if you think Oregon no-shows. Whatever.
Give me Oregon first half, Chaminade full game.
Okay. If you want to go for a hot take there, sure.
Threading that needle. Pure fade of some numbers might have been so bad recently. I'm going to the fade method.
I just can't get over the fact they lost to BYU by like 30-something points.
No.
Oregon's a team that usually with Altman is okay at the beginning, and they pick it up late, like right around March. This team looks like another one of those where they're going to look pretty good, maybe ranked in the teens or 20s, and then suddenly around February, March, you start looking at them going, is this an Elite 8 team? It just feels like one of those years for Oregon once again.
Scott, are we going to play the market stupidity against them and just take these Duke Citadel under?
I'm very fascinated by that line movement because we know in the past the Citadel
team total under.
The Citadel have been a turbo over machine for the last decade or so. I was betting on them in high school for the overs, and now
4 years ago.
No, it was about 10 years ago. But anyway. The point is the Citadel still gets a lot of attraction from the markets because people see the Citadel, they blindly bet the over. That's not the case this year. They have revamped their style for worse because they now play slower. So the line has gone up about 8 or 9 points in that Duke Citadel game. I'm not taking the over. You?
I can't. I mean, it's still a team. It's still a team, Scott, that averages 89.5 points a game. But if you look at who they play,
they also played Carver College, which gives them a free 120. So
that's what I'm saying. You get those early numbers like that, you really have to investigate and see who they've played because that's
one team, by the way, I've been looking into. I've been trying to find lines on Carver College games. I can't find them. They lose every game by 70. I can't find them.
The New Presbyterian?
No, they're even worse. They've been around for years. They lose every game by 90.
Where is Carver College?
Carver College is, I don't even know.
Okay. I thought you might know.
No idea. I just know that they lose every game by 60 and the spreads are usually, if you can find them, around 40 something.
Well, there's a tip that you're not going to get anywhere else. Nowhere else are you going to find.
Try to find them. Trust me. Just look up the game logs for the last like 3 years from them. It's hilarious against D1 competition.
The only Carver College I get is Carver College of Medicine at the University of Iowa. That can't be right.
By the way, someone asking me about some potential futures here. Arizona to win the Pac-12. I don't hate that. They took care of business against a good Michigan team. Michigan struggling to start the year. They're still a quality team. Arizona just destroyed them. I don't mind it. I think Oregon's a team that'll take some time to get going. UCLA, of course, is the creme de la creme of that overall conference. But if you think Arizona can maybe pull off an upset, they have some size on the interior, which could give UCLA some problems. I don't mind that. I think you might be seeing a UCLA Arizona conference title game. You?
I agree. This Arizona team is very, very solid. It's going to be fun to watch them square off against UCLA.
It's one thing to beat Michigan, who's ranked in the top 10. It's another thing to be up 20 in the second half. That was a demolition.
Yeah, blasted them.
Yeah,
absolutely blasted them. Carver College, Scott, is somewhere by Atlanta, Georgia.
By the way, JC, I like the Pac-12 for basketball. I don't like the Pac-12 for football this year. That's the difference.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. No, Scott loves the Pac-12. No shit.
We got to talk about the NFL game, right?
Yeah, I was gonna go real quick to the NHL. You got anything?
Quickly, if the Islanders are playing, bet against them. No, I'm just kidding. But it's definitely been a sad time for me as a fan. But long season. Hopefully they turn it around. Anyway, looking at hockey quickly, I'd fade the Sabres. I'd go with the Blue Jackets. I know both teams are bad. Buffalo's been atrocious over the last couple of weeks, which is really par for the course. We know the Sabres are a team that usually starts the season off randomly well, and then everything hits the wall about 3 weeks into the season. They're going through Buffalo, and they've lost 3 of 4. They have not played well. Columbus, though, have won 2 of 3 with their middle of a road trip, but Buffalo's a team that I'm not exactly thrilled with. I think that's a pretty good price there for Columbus. But besides that, what else do I like here?
I like Vegas. I like Vegas getting a plus price against a St. Louis team that's lost 5 of their last 6.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too, especially at plus money. Vegas has woken up. They're starting to play good hockey.
Yeah, they won 5.
And I feel like we got to talk about it. Not sure if Zach is listening to the show, but we got to go with the Ducks. Quack, quack.
I'll go along with that. I agree with that. Okay. So let's talk about this NFL game tonight. Got the Tampa Bay Bucks, losers of 2 straight, taking on the Giants. Giants get Saquon back.
Bring in Blaine Gabbert.
All signs would appear. Tampa Bay laying 11. Scott went to 12, down to 10.5. Now pretty much it's settled at 11. Where you at? Tampa Bay has lost 2 straight. They figured out Tom Brady.
Well, you'd assume based on history. I'm curious how many people are betting the Giants solely because the Giants have given Brady issues for like 15 years, even though he's not even on the same team that he was on when he used to give them problems, you know?
Right.
So that's, of course, the public narrative saying, oh, the Giants always give Brady problems. Expect Brady to struggle.
Yeah,
I'm not going that far. But based on what I've seen in the NFL this season, there's no way I'm laying 11 or 12 with Tampa Bay. I can't do it. The NFL has been a season where I don't know who's good. Seems like every team picks and chooses what weeks they want to show up or not. Tampa Bay should show up, but I do think it's too many points. I think the Giants will hang around. Are they a good team? No. I think it'll be a bit of a high-scoring game. I don't mind the over, but I do think the Giants will hang around. Tampa's going to win the game. I'm not picking the Giants to pull off a shocking upset, but give me the points.
Don't hate that. Dersilky Mound 412 says Evans anytime touchdown. Always a solid play. I agree there. Joan likes the points with the Giants. I'm with Joan and I'm with Scott on that one.
Do we have a status update on Gronk? Because I know that it seems like all signs are pointing to him returning.
Yeah.
He is playing though, right?
He was a full participant Friday and Saturday. He took Sunday off, but they were kind of thinking that's just a Veterans Day off kind of thing. So
I don't know how many snaps he's going to play. But Silky kind of stole my idea, or at least we're on the same page. He likes Gronk anytime touchdown. You know, anytime in the red zone, Brady's first read is Gronk.
Yep. Absolutely true. Bucks team total over. I don't hate that, especially if you get it 30.5 still.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of that play. But
if you want to prop, by the way, I don't mind Daniel Jones over in rushing yards because we know that the Giants won't be able to run the ball, whether Barkley plays or not. And Jones should be running for his life a decent portion of the game.
Well, see, here's the problem with that narrative, Scott, is Tampa Bay has actually given up some yards on the ground the last 3 weeks. They gave up 143 to Chicago. They gave up $150 to New Orleans. Give up almost 100 to Washington. So I mean, they're not quite the lockdown unit that they were last year.
Well,
They're
the 100 yards,
that
is true. The 100 yards for Washington, though, if you look at Gibson's yards per carry and everything, it wasn't a pretty 100+ yards.
Where are you on the total for this game? Brandon Kubas wants to know where we land on the total.
I'm looking at the over.
Has to be.
I feel like some people might want to take the under solely because you're expecting Tampa's defense to bounce back. You have question marks about the Giants. I'm not sure the Giants get many stops in this game. And I think that with the actual offenses in question, I think they'll move the ball. So I think that if you like the under, then you're expecting a couple of long drives that settle into field goals. I'm not sure you get many field goal drives for Tampa, but I'm looking at the over.
This is something you also need to remember about this Tampa Bay team at home. They are a different squad. They have scored 40.5 points at home. The least amount of points they've scored in 4 home games has been 31. So I think the Giants keep it close, and that means they're going to have to chase them, and they're going to have to throw the ball. Like you said, they don't really need extra incentive not to run because that Tampa Bay run defense most likely will stone them. Although, again, there has been some cracks, and they don't have a Vita Vea, which is huge, as you well know, Scott, against the run. He is a massive force there in the middle of that defensive line for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I'm going over in this one as well.
I see some people asking college basketball quickly before we get into our favorite play. People are mentioning Seton Hall for the last half hour or so.
Yep.
It's one of the perks of betting college basketball, even if you lose, because I lost with a Yale Seton Hall over a couple of weeks ago. I got to watch Seton Hall play, and then they beat Michigan afterwards. Lines moved a lot with them against Ohio State from around +1 to around -2, -2.5. That's a really good basketball team, Seton Hall. That's a really good team.
Yeah, very, very solid. I think they're
So even when you lose bets, you got to learn something. And I learned that Seton Hall is a team that a lot of people do not want to mess with.
Yep, you're absolutely right, Scott. You are absolutely correct. Okay, let's get to it. I don't know. We're gonna have to fly without notes here.
I mean, I have notes
for some reason. Well, no, all my cells went away. So we're just gonna have to do it old school, buddy, without the visuals. All right,
cool.
It's time to put our heads together. We talked about it before. You and I have come up with our favorite consensus play of the day. If you had to put all your chips in the middle, bet on just one game, this would be it, Scott. Get that straw hat out. Climb aboard your John Deere, folks. It is time to bet the farm. All right, my friend. And we told you we went deep, that we took a look at a lot of games. And this is the one that we've come up with. And it's going to be the Grand Canyon Antelopes minus the 3 points over Wyoming. The Antelopes allow their opponents to shoot just 37% from the field. That's 37th in the country. 40.9 from 2-point distance. That is 36th. They have beat the number 3 times, Scott, by an average of 7.5 points per game. All those games have come at home, where they are a very good home team, and this game will be at home. They have yet to hit the highway. Year in, year out, Grand Canyon, one of the biggest home court advantages, under the radar home court advantages that is out there in college basketball. Scott, if we had to bet just one game today, it would be the Grand Canyon Antelopes minus the 3 points.
I don't know about you. I think that if you get enough Antelopes against enough Cowboys, the Antelopes would win.
Antelopes are absolutely going to win. No question about it. So there you have it, guys. Bet the farm. Antelopes minus the 3 points over them Cowboys. And, of course, we do thank you guys for stopping by. As always, it's fun to have everybody here and everybody checking in on Monday. Don't forget to drop us those Call the Cops and Rocking Chair plays in the comment section. Don't forget to check out Chris King, my buddy, over there rocking it on the parlay side just a little bit before we go on. And as far as Scott and I, That's going to do it. Monday's in the books. You guys have a great day. Thanks for checking us out. Good luck on all of your plays. And we'll see you tomorrow right here. Same bat time, same bat channel on Heading Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. Take care, everybody.